It's very hard to calm down when your body feels wired. This is because stress isn't just mental, it's physiological. And the best way to deal with physiological problems is with physiology. Meditation is a great practice for dealing with stress in the long term. It can help you better understand and become aware of what's causing you stress. But it's not great for immediate relief. When your mind is racing and stress is peaking and you feel all wired up, then sitting down and being still is one of the worst things you can do. There's a faster way to shut your brain off in these moments that many high performers have done for generations. It doesn't require an app, a quiet dark room, or even hours of your time. This faster way I'm talking about is intense physical exercise. So today let's discuss how this works, what's happening in the brain and the body when you physically exercise, especially at that intense level, and how you can integrate this in your life when you feel most stressed. When you're stressed, the main neurochemicals your brain releases are cortisol and norepinephrine. These two prepare your body for a fight or flight situation where you need to get out of harm's way and survive. But as I've discussed before, many of the stressors we face on a day-to-day basis in today's modern day world, they aren't physical stressors. They don't immediately threaten our survival. The most common stressors are psychological, social, and emotional stressors. And while these stressors might not immediately pose a threat on our survival, our brain reacts the same way. Because logically, we think, okay, well, this situation or this person or this event is really stressing me out. So your logical brain sends a signal to your emotional brain, which is the limbic system, and then the limbic system releases the cortisol and the norepinephrine. And this is an ongoing cycle because the more you logically think about the stressful situation, the more stressed out you become. This is because your logical brain is sending signals to your emotional brain. But intense physical exercise breaks the pattern. This is because when you're in a physically demanding situation, your brain physiologically cannot think about whatever that stressor is. You're so focused on maintaining your balance, your coordination, and using your muscles effectively to get through that exercise, whatever it is you're doing. And during intense physical exercise, your brain is flooding with dopamine. This comes from a part of the brain called the striatum. And this dopamine release gets you feeling eager, motivated to move, and excited. And this immediately shifts your thinking from thinking about the psychological or emotional stress to the physiological demands on your body. So any kind of recurring thought you have about the social or emotional or psychological stressor just melts away. Because physically your body cannot attend to whatever that stressor is and to the immediate physical exercise. Your brain's powerful, but that is way beyond its capacity. And this is a good thing for people like us who do get stressed in the modern day world. But things get even better. There's this protein through your nervous system called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of this as Miracle-Gro for your brain. During intense physical exercise, researchers have found that these levels of BDNF increase by 30 to 50%. The reason why this matters is because that protein, it repairs those neurons that have been damaged from the ongoing stress. Mainly, it repairs the neurons inside of your brain's hippocampus. And the hippocampus is your brain's memory and emotional regulation system, which of course is directly tied with psychological and emotional stress. As a result, this improves on your emotional regulation skills, which directly influences how stressed out you get in a given situation. Because if you have great emotional regulation skills, then you can be dealing with a situation that would typically get you all worked up and anxious, and all of a sudden you're calm. You have this centeredness. You know that whatever this situation is, whatever curveball life throws at you, you're gonna be okay. Anyways, that's the brief neuroscience behind what's happening when you're stressed and how physical activity actually helps you reduce stress. Keep in mind that your body was meant for this acute short-term stress. Because in the past, before we had all these psychological, emotional, and social stressors, the main thing that got us all stressed out was survival. Physical survival. Whether that was in the woods or hunting for animals or being chased by a predator, these forms of acute stress were part of life. They were things that our body was designed to do. And the truth is, evolution happens very slowly. So our bodies are still designed for that acute stress that was more common in the past with our ancestors and not so much of the stress we deal with on a day-to-day basis. That's why physical exercise is so powerful. What we're doing is we're getting out of our heads and into our bodies. We are taking the stress from our minds and we're redirecting it to our muscles. It's like an alchemy of sorts. We're transferring this into this. You might be thinking, why am I going to do intense physical exercise to get all sweaty and sore muscles and have achy bones? What's the point of that? Look, there's enough evidence and science to back up why everybody should be exercising on a day-to-day basis, but that's beyond this video. But in the context of dealing with lingering, ongoing stress, I'll just say it's a game changer. Because when you have this ongoing, chronic stress that comes from a psychological stressor or an emotional or social stressor, then you never know when it's going to end. It just lingers. It stays there seemingly forever, day after day after day, until whatever that situation is resolves itself. But with physical exercise, you know that there's a definitive end point. You know that, okay, well, I'm pushing my body to its limits. I'm sweaty, I'm tired, I'm dehydrated, my muscles are cramping, but in 45 minutes, I'll be done. And eventually you stop. Your body recovers and you go back to homeostasis. And while you exercise, as I mentioned, your brain literally cannot think about whatever that psychological or emotional or social stressor is. It's so focused on what it is you're doing and try to keep your physical body safe. And once you finish with the exercise, you'll be so physically exhausted that you simply don't have the mental bandwidth to worry about whatever those problems are. In your mind, you can say, okay, well, I need to rest, I need to recover. Maybe I'll eat something, maybe I'm gonna go to bed. And when I'm ready, I will attend to whatever the stressor is. Quick story before I wrap this up. My freshman year of university, I had many final exams on the same day. And this was really stressing me out because I was doing well all year. I had been studying, I had been writing my essays, showing up to class on time. Things were working out until this last day, it seemed, because all of my finals were just scheduled back to back to back to back to back. So I was stressed out thinking about, okay, how am I going to remember all this material? How can I best prepare? So the day before my final exams, I went to the gym and I spent like 4.5 hours there, just randomly lifting weights, just getting all my energy out. I was running on the treadmill, I was doing pull-ups, bench press, squats, everything. I intentionally got myself so physically exhausted that I couldn't think about these things mentally. I couldn't stress myself out, overthinking and imagining and getting all worked up over these hypothetical scenarios. And this was a game changer. That night after the gym, I went home, ate a big meal, and went to bed immediately. Next morning, I woke up super early. I studied for like 15 minutes, and then I was off to my first exam. And once I was done with that one, I went to the next exam and the next exam, and then the final exam. And looking back, I did pretty well on those final exams. But I know that if I didn't have that crazy day in the gym of intense physical exercise the night before, then there's a very good chance that I would not have performed at my best. Look, you don't need to lift weights. You don't need to run. You don't need to go climb mountains. You don't need to pretend to be a Red Bull athlete and jump out of planes. None of that. Just find some sort of physical exercise that gets your heart rate up and gets you out of your head and into your body. Any kind of immediate stress you're dealing with will just melt away. Rather than turning to some short-term vice like watching TV or scrolling your phone or drinking alcohol or smoking to just shut your brain off, get in the gym, get active, start moving your body. And once you deal with that immediate stress that you're facing right now, then you can mix in things like meditation and breath work and self-hypnosis, because those things help you understand stress and deal with your emotional regulation in the long term, which of course is very important. But if you're super stressed out and worried and all worked up right now, get your body moving. So, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more just like this. And if you're somebody who's already perhaps exercising and doing all these positive habits, but you're really struggling with overthinking, stress, and anxiety with your 9-to-5 job or working on your business, then be sure to check out the link below to book a one-on-one strategy call with me. Alrighty then, once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.